This session, we are going to cover one very important topic that is regarding cloud storage. When we talk about cloud storage, lot of type of storages are available. So we are going to discuss one by one, and we will try to give the demo of at least two of these storages. So first we will look at what are the currently, if you have to implement certain servers type of thing, which type of storage are available for your local use, and what are the corresponding storage in your cloud. So when we talk about cloud storage, three type of cloud storage is available: elastic block storage, elastic file system, then simple storage service is there. Although there is one fourth also called, that is direct attached storage. So we are going to discuss about all these terms: what is EBS, what is EFS, what is S3. Then we will relate this with the other terms that are dash is term is there, direct attached storage. Then we have got another term available with us, storage area network. Then we have got the term network attached storage, then object storage. That means whenever you are going to discuss about cloud, you are going to discuss about storage, and these are the different type of storage. So one by one, first 5 to 10 minute theoretical, we are going to discuss about these all the storage. Then we will give the demo of as much storage as possible. So when we talk about type of storage, first storage that comes into our mind is direct attached storage. Now, what is the meaning of a direct attached storage? When we purchase laptop or desktop, there is one hard disk is there. So basically, what is that? Direct attached storage. And even when for sometimes when you have to copy the data, when you are attaching the pen drive with your laptop or desktop, that is also the example of direct attached storage. So we will see corresponding, is there some this type of storage available in cloud or not. So this is one type of storage. Then we have got another type of storage, that is NAS storage, network attached storage. Now sometimes suppose I have got 100 system in my lab, and I have to share the files with all these systems. So normally what we do in our case, because most of the time our labs are window based labs, so what we do, on one window system, generally that is windows server, we create one folder, we put all the files that we want to share, and then what we do, we simply right click, and there is one option is there, sharing. Now, when we click on that sharing, that folder is available to all the other 99 systems. So basically, that is example of your network attached storage. That means you are going from client system, you are going to access that storage. That is network attached storage. Then we have got another storage is available, storage area network. For that, I will just take one example. Like in my laptop, I have got 1.2 terabyte of hard disk is there in my laptop. But for some purpose, for experiment purpose, suppose I want further 8 terabyte more this storage. And I am assuming if the maximum storage available is drive is 2 terabyte, although more than 2 terabyte, 5 terabyte are also available. I'm just taking one example that I need 8 terabyte of storage, but currently the hard disk that is available is of 2 terabyte. So what I have to do, I have to purchase those 4 drives, then I have to attach with my laptop and desktop. Suppose if my requirement is of 80 terabyte, then what I have to do, I have to purchase those 40 hard disk and then attach with my laptop and desktop. But attaching 40 drives with the laptop and the portability issue will be there, and it will be very difficult to attach those 40 drives. So when we need a lot of storage, that type of storage to whom we can format, then this SAN device is there, storage area network device. So what you can do, you can go to some company and then you can specify that we would need 100 terabyte of storage. So what they are going to do, they are going to give you some device which will have some IP address. So what you are going to do, through networking you are going to access that storage, and the beauty of that storage is you can format that storage. But if you are using this NAS type of storage, you cannot format. Like when you are sharing with one system and you are accessing with on other system, you can access, but you cannot format that type of thing. But the SAN type of storage, what we can do, we can format that type of storage. Then we have got object storage. In these all these storage, what is happening, we have to directly attach. um, Attaching pen drive is easy, but suppose if we are going to say to some non-technical person, please attach one hard disk with your desktop, then he or she might have to open that desktop, then attach. It might not be their cup of tea. So little bit technical knowledge is required. Also, when you're assessing NAS type of storage or SAN type of storage, certain when you're using these type of storage, little bit technical uh, knowledge is required. But in the case of object storage, what happens, yeah, the storage is available through the browser. Now everybody can assess whether that is technical person or non-technical person. What they can do, they can assess by using the browser. So this storage is available through the browser. Now what are the corresponding, now we have discussed these terms, that mean whenever we do local labs, local data center, we use these type of storage. Even nature people, they have got these SAN devices available in most of the university and colleges. They have got these SAN and NAS devices available. So what are the corresponding devices? So that means in dash, if you are using hard disk or USB drive, then that is dash storage. But in local lab, suppose if you want to implement NAS type of thing, then what you have to do? You have to implement one Samba server is there, one NFS server is there. Like in recent past, we were implementing some advanced lab in some university. So we needed this NAS type of storage and SAN type of storage. But if you are going to purchase these NAS and SAN type of storage, minimum cost will be 5 lakh. So in our case, what we want the minimum cost. So what we did, we implemented our own NAS by using Samba and NF server. So it hardly cost us 60 to 70,000 rupees. And SAN also. That means if you have to implement SAN, target server and LVM, and look at this, what is written here? Block storage. Block storage mean you can format. This NAS is file type of storage. That means you can access, but you cannot format. Then we have got object storage. If you have to implement object storage, these are the technology. But implementing this Swift and Chef is very difficult. Implementing these things are difficult. These are also difficult. So that is why we go to the cloud. So what happened? If you want dash in cloud, there we have got this instance storage is there. That means if you want this type of facility, that means directly attached one hard disk with your instance, then which type of storage you are going to choose? Instance of storage. These days very few instances are available which support this type of instance storage. But 4 to 5 years back, almost 10% instances that were available on AWS, they used to support this type of instance storage. Uh, because the speed of the hard disk or the input output, it was very fast. But now these days the other storages also provide equivalent performance. So these days very few instances they support this instance type of storage. Then we have got NAS. If you want to use NAS in a cloud, then which type of storage you are going to use? Elastic file system, or short form is EFS, that is file storage. And if you want to use SAN, then what you are going to do? You are going to use EBS, elastic block storage, that is block. And if you have to use the object storage, then we are going to use S3 simple storage service. So for today's experimental, first I will be explaining this EBS type of storage. What is EBS type of storage? And we will be taking the demo of that. And then we will be looking at the simple storage service S3. If the time will permit, we will try to look at EFS also, but mostly we will be covering today this EBS and S3. And for EBS experiment, because all of you participant might not be that much comfortable with the Linux platform. So for making you understand what is EBS, so what I am going to do, I'm going to launch one window instance, because understanding that will be easy. And when you will be doing the exercise, then it will be easier for you to implement that experiment and understand this EBS. So to make you understand, first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one window machine, and we will observe when we are launching this window instance, whether it is using dash, NAS, SAN or object storage. Then what we will do, we will add additional storage, which will be of EBS type, and we will see how to attach that EBS storage with our window instance. So that is going to be our first experiment. So in my case, let me go to my AWS console. And if you are going to carefully look, today I'm just choosing, instead of Singapore region, I'm choosing Mumbai region, because yesterday I was doing some experiment in Singapore region. So what was happening? It was launching instance after 15 to 20 minutes. It might be, I do not know what was the issue. So I do not want to take any risk. So in my case, today I'm going to be using Mumbai region. Sometimes it happens, if all the resources they are being used, if you are creating the resource, that might take time. So in my case, I was doing some experiments, so Singapore region, it was giving me a little bit problem. So today I'm just going to use Mumbai region, same type of but here look at this. It is short abbreviation is AP South 1. So in my case, what I'm going to do, I will go to the EC2, because for understanding this EBS type of storage, what I need to do, I need to have either Windows instance or Linux instance. So because Linux sometimes you have to do all the things in command mode, so it might not be comfortable with each and every participant. So in my case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to launch one Windows instance. In my case, 0 instances are running. So I will click on this. And please remember, creating window instance is a little bit different than that Linux instance. So I will click on launch instance. So here I'm just going to say win server SCR. So this is so that I know that I have launched the Windows servers. Now look at this. For window, what we have to do? We have to choose the Windows. And please, lot of versions are available. Be careful that you are going to select the free tier. Now 2022 server is there, but in my case I'm going to choose little bit older version, and I'm going to choose 2016 base. And please remember, do not use the core, because if you are using to use the core, when you are going to access window system, that will be in text mode. But we are more comfortable with whenever we are using the Windows, we are more comfortable with the GUI mode. So please choose this, and it comes under free tier. There is a reason why I'm choosing this 2016, because 2022 is going to take a little bit more resources, and in our case we want to use maximum of the time. We want to use instances which comes under free tier. So in my case, instance type I will be choosing T2 micro. And look at this, in T2 micro, what is happening? One CPU, 1 GB RAM. Although running Windows 2016 server on 1 GB RAM and one CPU, it is just torture to Windows system. But still, we want to be a little bit cost conscious, so we will try to launch. Although when we will be assessing this instance, it will be a little bit slower. So, but still, we will be using. But if you are going to launch 2022, it will be even more slower. So I am just choosing 2016 server, T2 micro. Key pair, because in Mumbai region, I have created Mumbai key. In Singapore, I have named my key as a Singapore key. So I'm going to use this. And please, network settings. Now, automatically, when you launch Windows system, how much hard disk it gives? 30 GB. When you are launching the Linux instance, it was giving you 8 GB, because for Windows, we need minimum 30 GB. So be careful. And in networking setting, we have to choose edit. We are going to say edit, because I have to choose particular region, subnet. So in subnet, I'm going to choose 1A. Now, please remember, whenever you are trying to assess EBS type of storage, please keep in mind, wherever you are going to create the EBS and wherever you are going to create the instance, they should be in same zone. Suppose if we are launching the our this instance in 1A zone, and then we are going to create our EBS volume in 1B zone. then that will not be accessible to this instance. So be careful when you are using EBS of storage. Your storage and your instance, they should be configured in the same availability zone. So I have specified. Then create security group. We will name it as Win security group, and we will name it as demo, so that we know that we have created. Now please look at this. Here it is showing RDP protocol, because whenever you have to access a Linux system, you have to use SSH protocol. If you have to access Windows system, you have to use the RDP protocol, which is 339 is the port. And if you want to implement a web server, then what we are going to use, we are going to create customs. We are going to just specify HTTP also. And here source. Now, please always remember, when we talk about security rules, that mean we are talking about firewall. So if it is Windows system, you have to open the RTP protocol. If it is Linux, you have to open SSH port. And whatever additional service you want, you have to do that. So in our case, if we want to implement a web server, we can open this. But in our case, we are not going to implement web server. We just simply want to see how the EBS works. So rest all the things are okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to create the instance. That means simply one change from Linux instance was that in there we open that SSH port, and here what we have done, we have opened the RDP protocol, remote desktop protocol. Now, please remember one thing. First of all, when we launch Linux instance, it takes hardly 2 minutes. It comes in running state. But most of the time, when we are assessing the Windows system, it might be taking 3 to 5 minutes. And another issue with that Windows system is that we need certain password for accessing that Windows system. Now, in the case of Linux, passwordless authentication was possible, because we just right clicked on that, we said to connect, it automatically got connected. Or if we connect using the PuTTY or SSH, then again we do not need to specify the password. But whenever you are using the Windows systems, please remember, we need the password also. We need certain account also. Like in the Linux, there was one EC2 user was there. In Windows, we know that main user is administrator. But now this instance was created by the AWS. So we do not know the password. So we have to ask the AWS, what is the password of this instance? And for that, we are not going to make phone call. We have to just, we will go there. We will say connect. And please remember, still it is in initializing stage. And if you have not selected, please be careful in which zone it is available. If it is AP South 1A, so we are going to click on connect. Now, first of all, we will click on RDP client. So what it is saying, get password. That means you do not have to make the phone call. You have to click on this get password. Now what it is saying, please give us your private key, then only it is going to show you the password. So in our case, or in your case, whatever key you have created for accessing Linux servers, same key you are going to use here. So in my case, I'm going to say upload private key. And in my case, my key is in, let me check. There is one data folder is there. So this is Mumbai key. That means accessing window instance is a little bit different. So this is the password, very complex password. That means now we know that admin user is there. We know that this is the password. But there is one issue. For accessing that window instance, we need certain software. That software names is RDP client. So in each and every Windows system, we have got that RDP client is there. But AWS people, they have made life very easy for you. What they can do, you can download the client from there also. So what we are going to do, download. remote desktop file. So in my case, I'm going to save it on desktop. So let us assess now Windows system. I will click on Windows. It is saying connect, and whatever is the password, I'm going to paste. Yes. Now please remember what is happening. Now my Windows system is running, and it has used the storage which was of 30 GB, and we will look at how this storage look like. So it is just going to take 1 or 2 minutes to get started. So I will minimize. So let me again go to those slides. So in our case, what we are doing, we are trying to use this EBS. For this EBS, what we have done, we have launched one window instance. Now what we are going to do, we are going to assess. And for that, what we have to do, we have to open the disk management. And let me go there. That means we will go to our Windows system, and there we are going to click on disk management, and we will see how many disks are there. And in our case, we will see that only one disk is available. That means whenever you are going to launch the instance, one disk will be there, and we want to look at which type of disk is there. Then in our case, what we are going to do, we will attach additional disk also. So we will see how it is going to look. So let me go to the initial stage. So this is Windows system running. So in my case, I'm just going to click on this, because we have just given 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. So it is going to be slow, but we are a little bit cost conscious also. So PC, right click we are going to do. It is going to open server manager. And now look at this. It is just processing. At least when you're operating Windows, at least 4 GB RAM is required at least. But here we are trying to launch that with 1 GB. So in that, we are going to click on this tools, computer management. That means you have to go into the disk management by hook and by crook. So the procedure might be different. So disk management is there. Now look at this. It is showing that hard disk, 30 GB. Now what we are going to do? We are going to attach one volume. Why we need this additional volume? Suppose we are using this Windows system. We have created lot of code in this Windows system, but we now want to terminate this, because for 1 month we do not need this instance. But what we have to do, we have to take the backup of that. So what we will do, we will attach one storage. Then what we can do, we can copy whatever data is there to that storage, and then we are going to delete that instance. Because whenever you are using the EBS storage, if you are going to delete the instance, that storage will still be available. So please always remember EBS like a pen drive. That means if I have to format my laptop, but I want to take the backup, so what I will do, I will attach the pen drive, I will take the backup, then I can format my laptop that I will think, then again install the operating system, and then from pen drive I can take. So if you need a permanent storage type of solution, so what you can do, you can use EBS. Now let us now configure the EBS. That means now our window instance is running. So in my case, I will go to again EC2. Now here volume is there. Volume. Now already it is showing that one volume is already there. Look at this, 30 GB. And what message it is giving? It is in use. And which attached resources are these? So it is showing. Now we want extra. So create volume. And different type of volumes are available. General purpose. This is GP2 older type of. Then sometimes if you want to launch databases type of, if you have to use the database, your hard disk should be very fast or storage should be very fast. So we can specify. And please remember, whenever you purchase certain hard disk, like when normal hard disk, HDD hard disk is there, their speed is either 5400 rpm or 7200 rpm. If it is SCSI type of hard disk, then 10,000 rpm. And if you are using SSD, although there is no that, but their speed is much faster than those these type of storage, other storage. So here you can specify according to your need. And for certain purpose, if you need older type of storage, you can use this. So in our case, we will choose the default. And which type of storage? I'm just going to keep, and please, up to 5 GB extra storage is free. So please do not create more than that. So in my case, I'm just going to create 2 GB of volume. And you can specify input output speed also. That means if you are going to specify 10,000, that means they are going to provision hard disk in such a way that whenever you are going to write the data or read the data, the speed will be very fast. So we can configure that type of things, how much speed we want. Then this is very critical. Our instance, where it is running, it is running in AP South 1A. So we are going to choose this. If I'm going to choose 1B, then that we will not be able to attach. Suppose my system is in Chandigarh and I have got purchased a pen drive in Delhi, I will not be able to attach. So here in zone, same volume, and that it should be on the same zone. So we will be doing this default. So we are going to say create. Now what are you going quickly? It has created this volume. But still, if you are going to look at this, it is still not accessible. So what we did not to do, we have to attach this volume. Please remember, if in your organization also, if you have purchased NAS and SAN device, so please remember, for assessing that device, you need a little bit knowledge, that type of thing. Here also, when we have to, but in cloud, the things are very simple. So here what we are doing, we are clicking on the storage that we created. Then what action we are going to say? We are going to say, let me select action. But still, what it is saying, it is still in creating process. Yesterday also I was facing the same issue. It was taking so let us check. So now it is available. Yesterday also, when I was using the Singapore region, so it took more than 15 minutes. But normally that does not happen. Within seconds it got created. So now what it is saying, the first 30 GB it is showing in use, but here available. So we have to again select this. So action, what you have to do, attach volume, like we attach the pen drive. And please remember, when you do not want to use this, we have to say detach. Like when you want to use the pen drive, you have going to attach that pen drive with your desktop or laptop. And when we do not want to use that pen drive, first we have to unmount that pen drive. There one message is there, safely removed. So here what we are going to do, when we do not want to use, we are going to say detach. But here attach volume. Now we have to specify, because there might be many instances running. So we are going to say attach. Now let us look at the status. Now it is showing in use. And here look at when we are going to. Now this is. That means this is. We have attached. But this type of storage is SAN block storage. Before using, you have to format that. So first we are going to say online, then initialize. That is the standard procedure. So we are going to format it as a MBR, then new sample volume, the normal way. So here I'm purposefully I'm going to format it with fat. Although whenever you are using this storage in Windows systems, try to use NTFS file system. So we are going to finish. Now what we can do? Now it is saying formatting. Then we can assess. I'm going to minimize this. Then we are going to select here. So again, this is. So what we can do? We can create the data here, or whatever data is in our C drive. What we can do? We can put the data here. So I'm just putting some data. That means whatever data will be in your D drive, when you are going to delete the instance, this storage will not get deleted. So in my case, I'm just showing one file I've created. In real life, whatever data is in your C drive, you are going to copy here. Or sometimes what happens when we use the instance, we always keep one extra EBS volume with us, where whatever data is, we always store there. So when we delete the instance, we do not delete that storage, so that we can use that storage with other instances. And why we have formatted this with the FAT? Because if we want to use the same volume with the Linux system, so Linux supports FAT, Windows also supports FAT. So if your instances are of different variety, that means Linux and Windows, you can format with the that FAT file system, because FAT file system you can access in Windows also, in Linux also. But if you want to access only in this Windows systems, then NTFS is much better. That is why. So now we do not want this. So what we have to do? We have to do the reverse procedure. In reverse procedure, that means we are going to say offline. Then what we are going to do? We will go there. So here, what action? Now, because sometimes it takes time, so this detach volume option is sometimes available after 4 to 5 minutes. So what we can do? Force detach. So we are going to say detach. So let us look after. Still it is showing in use. So 2 or 3 minutes we have to give. So we are going to see whether now it is saying available. Now what will happen? In my case, I'm going to close this system. Now what I'm going to do? I will go to the instances. I'm going to delete this. Terminate. Now when we are going to terminate the instance, the hard disk that we attach 30 GB, that will be gone. But what about this that we created? Volumes. So if we are going to refresh, so we will see, because deleting instances takes little bit time. So after some time, this will not be available. So let us again go to the instances. Terminate it. Again go to the volume. So we are going to refresh. Then we want to delete our volume that we have created. That gone. Now this was the volume. But in real life, we are not going to delete. This was for demo purpose that we created, and then we are going to delete immediately. But here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this value. And that means using a SAN type of EBS storage is very easy. and you can easily. So here in this exercise, what we did, we created one window instance and we tried to attach one 2 GB of system. So when you will be doing the experiment, please again create one window instance and then create one storage of 3 GB or 4 GB, and then try to attach with the Windows system. And if you people are also comfortable with the Linux system, then after you have attached that drive with the Windows system, try to attach it with the Linux system also. uh, that will be one exercise that you people are going to do. Now this was the one storage. Now we want to move to the another storage which is very important. That is your second type of storage, that is called simple storage service, S3. Please remember, most of the companies they use this storage, simple storage service. Even once time, almost 3 to 4 years back, even Dropbox used to use this behind the scene, this type of storage S3. By I think now they have shifted their storage to some another cloud provider, but initially Dropbox service was all on your this the AWS S3. And when we talk of lot of company, thousands of companies, they use S3 service for their storage purpose. The benefit, what is the benefit of this storage? Benefit of storage is there that if you have to access this storage, then you have to just use the browser. And the another beauty of this storage is when you are going to save anything in this storage, it will automatically make 3 copies of that. So fault tolerance, lot of fault tolerance is there. But since the 3 copies are stored, so if you are cost conscious, then what you can do, you can specify also, no, we do not want 3 copies, only 1 copy is sufficient. So lot of storages types are available, so we are going to discuss. So what more so whenever we have to use certain storage type, S3 is the preferred storage. And please remember, if in your local organization, if you want to implement this type of storage, then 2 softwares are there. So just for knowledge purpose, I am specifying these are the 2 software Swift, but the it requires a lot of technical knowledge if you want to implement this Swift and Chef. So you can create your own type of storage, object type S3 type of storage, but we are not going to do, we are going to use S3. So let us do the experiment regarding S3, how to use. Although the name of this storage is simple storage, but now these days they have it is not that much simple, you can say, because they have now given thousands of different options are there. So using it has become a little bit difficult. So I think that term simple storage service is not longer valid. So keep in mind. So in our case, when I have to use the S3 type of storage, I'm just going to click on here. Then what we are going to do, we will click on this S3. So we will see how to use this. Now, first of all, let us take an example of our laptop or desktop. Whenever we have to store anything in our laptop or desktop, what we do, normally we create folders. And then in folder, we put the files and that type of things. But whenever you are using this S3 storage or any object storage, please remember there is no concept of folders. Instead of folder, they use the term bucket. So we are not going to say in S3 that create folder or directory. What we are going to do, we are going to say bucket. So here I'm going to specify create bucket. And please remember, when I use this S3 concept, what it is saying, global type of service. Now, please remember, when you use AWS, certain services are regional services like EC2 instance, these type of thing. We have to choose certain region type, like when we try to are going to attach EBS type of storage, they should be in same zone type of thing. So that is zonal service. Sometimes certain services are regional service, but S3 is global service. What is the meaning of global service? That means the bucket you are going to create, the name of that bucket should be unique, globally unique. If I have created some bucket, and if you are going to create that bucket with the same name, it is going to give you the error. So in my case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the bucket. I will name my bucket as unit 1 2 3 4 5 6, anything. But when you will be experimenting, if you are going to give the same name, what will happen? Because I have already created the bucket. So in your case, what message it is going to give you? That this bucket name is not available. Please choose different name. So we are naming it as any. It should be globally unique. And please remember, millions of people are using S3. So whenever you are trying to create, you can specify your organization's name and something other, so that you are able to create the bucket. Then what we are going to do here, two type of securities are available. So in our case, what it is saying, ACL disabled. But if you want to control the access to S3 properly, that means if in this bucket, if I'm going to put 10 different files, and I want that one file should be accessible, one file should not be accessible, then if you want that type of you can say facility, then what you have to say, ACL enabled. So we have to choose this. And what it is saying, block public access through settings for this bucket. So please remember, if it is your data, what you want, you do not want it to publicly available. But in my case, suppose if I want to share the slides of the session, so what I can do, I can uncheck this. But initially, what I will do, I will keep it at default, block all public access. Then lot of other options are there. Please remember, initially when this storage came, not that many options were available. Simply you used to say create bucket, it used to create bucket. Only the access permissions were there. Now bucket versioning is there. Lot of other advanced settings. uh, Object lock enable mean it is not going to let you delete that type of bucket. But we are not. We are just going to keep the thing simple. So I'm going to say create bucket. So what it is saying, successfully created bucket. And what we are going to do, we will close this and we will look at this is the bucket. Behind the scene, what it has done, it has just when we are viewing to us, it just look like our directory. But behind the scene, what it use the terms, it used the term bucket. Now I'm going to click on this, like we click on the folder. Now what I will do, I will upload some object. So add file. If you are going to carefully look, it is just like Dropbox type of thing when you upload or G Drive type of things. So in my case, I'm just going to upload some photo. Now file and folder, this is the photo. Permissions are there. Then properties are there. Now this is very important. Properties. Now suppose this photo is very critical, or the data that you are uploading, that is very critical. Then by default, if you are not going to choose the storage class is just like when you purchase your desktop or laptop, they give you the option whether HDD hard disk, whether this SCSI type of hard disk, or your SATA type of hard disk, or SSD type of hard disk. The cost of SSD is the maximum, the cost of HDD is the lowest. Then SATA is there, then SCSI is there, then your SSD is there. Same way here, when you are going to choose the this storage type, you can specify standard case mean it is going to save at least 3 copies of that file. So fault tolerance is there, and it is they say that 11 nines. That mean if you are going to upload any object on S3, the availability will be 99.99. That means almost your that object will be available for years. So that is, but sometimes we are cost conscious, but we can choose another type of storage, like one zone is there, so price is little bit different. And suppose certain data is there which you are for, this is for regulatory purpose. Suppose some document or students results are there, so project files are there, or some data is there which we have to keep for government's regulations are there, that we have to keep it for 5 to 6 years or 10 years. Then we have got this glacier storage is there. It is very cheap. That means if you want for years to store the data, and you can wait for 1 or 2 hour for whenever you have to assess, you can wait for 1 to 2 hour for assessing that data. You can use glacier type. Lot of choices are there. So please remember, most of the companies they use one of these storage for their storage purpose. But in our case, we will keep this one standard storage. So in my case, I'm just going to say upload. Now we have uploaded this. So this is the file. Why it is called object storage? But because it has been given one unique address. Look at this. HTTPS, one unique address is there. And if you are from today onward, sometimes if you are going to download the file, please note properly. Most of the time you will see that behind the scene your file is getting downloaded from the S3 service. This type of link is there. That means imagine AWS, this type of thing is there. That means you can easily understand that that company from where you are downloading the data, they are also using this S3 service. So I will click on this. What did he say? Access denied. It should be denied because it is your data. Unless and until you are going to publicly share these data, it will not be available because this is my personal data. But sometimes what I do want to do, I want to make it public available. So we have to change the permission. So let us check how to change the permission. That means by default, when you are going to use the S3 service, you are going to create the bucket, you are going to put the data, that data will be available to you only. It will not be publicly accessible. That means your private data. But sometimes what we want to make it public. So what we are going to do, so I will, and please remember why we are discussing this S3, because lot of other services, like tomorrow what we are going to do, we are going to use one platform as a service, elastic b. That means tomorrow's session we will be covering one cloud, that is platform as a service. Behind the scene, when we are going to use that platform as a service cloud, behind the scene it stores the data in S3. There are a lot of services also there, like when we were creating that AMI, custom AMI for auto scaling purpose, where that AMI got stored behind the scene in S3. So AWS itself, for some of its services, stores the data in S3. So that is why understanding S3 it is very important. That means now when we created the bucket and we try to assess that object, we were not able to assess. So what we have to do, we have to click on this bucket. We have to go to the permissions. Now what it is saying? It is saying block all public access. So what we will do, we will click on this edit. We are going to remove this. So it was block all public access, click unselect. We are going to, that means allow public access. So we are going to say save changes. It is saying confirm. And please remember, 10 years back, it does not used to give so many messages. But these days companies are also very security conscious. Mean sometimes if you are not expert in using this S3 type, what will you do? We will make some critical data public, which will be very dangerous. So they try to give certain message that confirm, that type of thing. So in our case, what we are going to do, we are going to make this. Then again, we will go back to bucket. We will go to again click, and we are going to click on this. That means you have to change the permission of bucket also. You have to change the permission of that object also. So here we will go to the action. What it is saying, make public using ACL. So let us make it public. It is saying successfully edited public access. Now we are going to say close. Now again click on this. Now we will try to access. What is saying? That means we are able to access that storage which was available. And look at the link. This is the link. That means in object storage, what you are going to do, you are going to get one unique, you can say, URL. And you can share this URL to any person, whether that is technical person or non-technical person. They can easily access this type of storage. So that means each in this storage, your object is stored. I mean, your file is stored as one object. So that is why it is called object storage. Now what we want to do, we want to delete this, because creating the bucket is also necessary, then deleting the bucket is also necessary. So I will click on this and I will try to delete. Now what it is saying, the bucket is not empty. That means you cannot delete the bucket until you are going to empty that bucket. So what we are going to say, empty bucket. Again, it is saying permanent delete all objects in as a. So here we have to type the message. Copy. Paste. So we have emptied the bucket. Then again, what we are going to do, we are going to say delete the bucket. Copy. That means we were able to delete the bucket. But in this case, the way we created the bucket and then we put the object, we have to, for each and every object, we have to make individual object as a public. That means if I'm going to upload the second file, third file, fourth file, I have to go to the individual files and I have to make that public. So there is one another advanced concept is there in S3. So let me go to there. That means what we want to do, we want certain other method which is easy. That means we want to create some folder in which whatever thing we are going to put, it should be public available. So in my case, again, I'm going to create the bucket unit. Now because I have deleted that bucket, so I can again use that name. So now what I'm saying, because when you're using the ACL, it gives you the control on individual object. But here but it is very difficult. If you have to upload 100 file individually, you have to manage 100 files. So that is sometimes difficult. So in second case, what we are going to do, again, we are creating the bucket, but here we are keeping it disabled. Now I will say block all public access, uncheck, and it is saying that please acknowledge that you want to make it public. Then what we are going to do, I'm going to say create bucket. So again, I will move to the bucket. I will click on this. I will go to the permissions. There will be one concept called bucket policy. So I will click on edit and I will be sharing this code with you people. So let me copy paste this code. So please use only if you are comfortable with this this policy language. Otherwise, that ACL is okay for you. So in my case, let me cut paste, then I will explain. That means what we are trying to do, we are not using that ACL method. Initial when this S3 service was there, only this ACL concept was there. But these cloud service provider, what they are trying to do, they are making their service more sophisticated. They are giving you different options. So they have given one option regarding bucket policy. So here what we are specifying some as this object ID, then effect. This is allow. Principal mean anybody can action S3 get object. That means they can access the object. Here I have to specify the name of the bucket. So in my case, the name of the bucket is. So again, please, if you are not comfortable with this type of things, because not everybody is comfortable with writing these policies, then ACL is the best thing. But if you are a little bit of programming background, that type of thing, then you can use. So this is bucket policy. What we are saying, that please allow anybody, whatever we are going to put in this unet 1 2 3 4 5 6 buckets slash star, everything will be publicly available. So what we have to do, we have to save changes. Then we will close. Then we'll again come back to bucket. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to say upload, add file. Okay, let us go to some folder. Again, I'm going to put some data there. So upload. That means now we have made that folder public. Then we applied some policy. And that policy was whatever object we are going to put, please make that object public. So we will close this. We are going to click on this and let us see what is going to happen. So that mean you are able to properly assess this object properly. So let me go there, close. Then again, we want to delete this. So I will go there, empty, because we have to first empty that. Again, please, recommended practice, please, whatever resources you are not using, please delete those resources. First, we are going to say empty. Then what we are going to do, we are going to say delete that folder. So we are going to. So that was your S3 storage. And I will just show you, because that will require a little bit lot of technical knowledge on. So I will not be covering. I just will just show you that how to use EFS little bit. EFS. So what it is saying? Imagine elastic file system, scalable, elastic, cloud native NFS file system. So when we were discussing, what I was saying, if you have to locally implement NFS, what do? You implement Samba and NFS server. The advantage of implementing Samba and NFS is that if it is NAS, Windows will be able to access also. Linux, let me show one diagram. That means if we have created NFS, NAS type service, or whether it is cloud, then your Windows instance can use it, your Linux instance can also use. So that is the advantage. But sometimes it depends upon the cloud provider, how they have implemented that NAS. If during implemented they have used only NFS concept, that means this storage will be available only to the Linux system. It will not be available to the Windows system. But normally when we in local storage, when we implement this type of thing, we use the NFS plus Samba server combination. So what happens, whatever we are going to store in this NAS device, it will be available to Windows system, it will be available to Linux system. But here, if you are going to carefully look, what it's saying, scalable elastic cloud native NFS file system. The advantage of this is that it give you petabyte of storage. That means unlimited storage. This is the advantage. But if you have to access this storage on client side, we have to run certain Linux commands. So I'm just that means create file system. You have to just name this ABC any file system, and you have to just create. Then what you have to do, you have to run certain Linux type of commands on your Linux system, and then you will be able to use. So let me cover a little bit more about uh, simple storage service. And please, one or two more thing about that S3 service. Now, sometimes what happens, suppose certain data is there, which is only critical for 1 month. That means after that, we just want it for reference purpose. We want to store somewhere else, so that if after 1 year we require that data, we can access. So in S3, what you can do, you can specify the life cycle policies. What is life cycle policies mean? First, we are going to say that initially store it in that standard storage. After 1 month, move into S3 one zone. Then after 3 months, move it to Glacier. So in this, what will happen? Automatically, it will manage the storage. These days, what happens in our case, like in my case, whatever data is in my laptop, that is critical. So what I do, I keep it in in pen drive. But if I do not need, I find out that certain data I might be needing after 1 or 2 years, or might even not needing, then what I do, I have kept one 5 terabyte of external drive. So I put all that data on that drive, uh, which I rarely use. So it depends, but we have to do this manually. But here you can specify that life cycle policy. And one another property in S3 is available. That means suppose you have updated one file, and then we have made the changes in that file, again uploaded that file, then again we have made the changes. So what you can do, you can enable bucket versioning. In bucket versioning, what will happen, your S3 bucket is going to keep all the three versions, but again certain cost will be available. That means now what they have done, these people, AWS people, they have created more and more facilities, uh, uh, and it is I always say it is no longer that simple storage service. But here what we have done, we have just explored how to create the S3 bucket, then we how to enable the ACLs, and how to individually make that object public. But that was not proper. So we second time again we created one bucket, and we applied the bucket policy. In bucket policy, the advantage was that we could create upload any number of files, and they are going to be publicly available.